The sound that defined Mirror Lake wasn't the gentle lapping of water against the shore, but the groan of rope and the thunderous splash of Caleb's great net. Every dawn it was the same. A shadow would fall over the crystalline water as Caleb and his 2 sons cast a web so vast it seemed to swallow the morning sun. They were a machine of efficiency, a testament to relentless ambition. And their results? They were undeniable. By mid-morning, Caleb's cart would be overflowing, a mountain of silver scales shimmering in the light. The coins in his leather pouch made a heavy, satisfying clink as he walked through the village market. He wasn't just a fisherman, he was an enterprise. People whispered his name with a mixture of awe and envy. Caleb, they would say, owned the lake. He had conquered it. On the far side of that same lake, where the ancient willows dipped their branches into the water, sat another fisherman. His name was Elias. Elias had no sons helping him, no giant net, no overflowing cart. He had only a simple wooden boat, a single hand-carved rod, and a line so fine it was nearly invisible. He was a study in stillness, a man who seemed to be in quiet conversation with the water itself. Some days he would return with only 2 or 3 fish, never more than he and his wife needed, with perhaps 1 extra to trade for bread or milk. The villagers saw Elias as a kind, simple old man, but a poor one, a relic of a bygone era. One afternoon, Caleb, his pockets heavy with the day's profit, moored his large boat near Elias's quiet cove. He couldn't resist. Caleb called out, his voice booming with confidence. "Still playing with string, old man?" Elias looked up, his eyes as calm and deep as the lake he so loved. He offered a gentle smile. "The lake is generous today, Caleb." Caleb laughed, a loud, dismissive sound. "Generous? Elias, I pulled more fish from this lake before you even baited your hook than you'll catch all month. That's not generosity, that's wealth, that's progress. You're leaving money floating in the water." Elias slowly reeled in his line, checking his bait with a practiced, gentle hand. "The lake gives what is needed, Caleb," he replied softly. "Not always what is wanted. And I wonder, does it feel generous when your net is scraping its bones bare?" Caleb just shook his head, a smirk on his face. He saw Elias's philosophy not as wisdom, but an excuse for a lack of ambition, an excuse for poverty. Why catch 1 fish when you could catch 1,000? Why earn $1 when you could earn 100? It was simple math. The man with the biggest net wins. But the lake, it was beginning to change. The villagers didn't see it at first, blinded by the abundance of Caleb's daily haul. But Elias saw it. He felt it. The water grew a little murkier each week. The fish Caleb brought to market, they were smaller. The vibrant pulse of life beneath the surface was growing faint, like a slowly dimming light. Caleb, in his relentless pursuit, didn't notice it. He was too busy counting his coins, building a bigger house, hiring more men to help him cast his even bigger net. He was winning the game, wasn't he? Then one morning, a new sound echoed across the lake. Silence. A deep, unnerving quiet that felt like the lake itself was holding its breath, waiting for a final, terrible verdict. The silence was a disease. At first it was just an oddity. Then it became a concern. Soon it was a panic. The famine didn't arrive like a storm. It crept in like a fog, chilling the village to its core. The soil in the fields grew stubborn and dry, and the fruit on the trees withered. All eyes once filled with hope turned to the lake. They turned to Caleb. But the lake had nothing left to give. Caleb's great net, the very symbol of his wealth and power, became an instrument of his despair. Day after day, he and his men would heave and pull, their muscles straining, only to drag up a net filled with mud, rotting weeds, and the skeletal remains of a dying ecosystem. The thunderous splash was replaced by a pathetic hollow plop. His mountains of fish were gone. His enterprise had collapsed. His coin pouch was still heavy, but it was a dead weight in his pocket. He couldn't eat the coins. He couldn't trade them for fish that no longer existed. The market stalls, once overflowing, were now barren. The faces of the villagers, once filled with awe for him, now held only desperation and a growing resentment. He owned a fortune, yet the gnawing hunger in his belly was the same as everyone else's. He was the richest and the poorest man in the village. One evening, broken and humbled, Caleb walked the long path around the lake to the ancient willows. There in the twilight was Elias, sitting peacefully in his small boat. As Caleb watched, his rod bent slightly. With a calm, steady hand, he pulled a beautiful silver fish from the depths. It wasn't large, but it was healthy. It was alive. Caleb stumbled forward. "How?" he stammered, his voice cracking. "How is that possible? The lake is dead." Elias looked at Caleb, his expression not of triumph, but of deep sorrow. "The lake is not dead, Caleb. It is wounded. You scraped the shallows clean, taking everything, including the young. You took the future, but you never learned its secrets." He gestured to the water. "You saw only the surface, a resource to be emptied. I learned its depths. I know the hidden crevices where life takes shelter, the cool, deep pockets the sun can't boil. I took only what I needed, so there was always something left, enough to survive, enough for life to one day return." Elias guided his boat to the shore, stepped out, and held the fish out to Caleb. "Here," he said, simply. "Your family must be hungry." In that moment, holding the single fish in his trembling hands, Caleb finally understood. He hadn't been building wealth, he was liquidating it. He was a man who had inherited a thriving business and sold off every asset for quick cash, leaving nothing but an empty shell. His giant net wasn't a tool for creating wealth. It was a weapon of mass destruction for his own prosperity. Elias, with his single line, had a smaller income, yes, but he preserved his capital. He nurtured his asset. He understood that true wealth isn't a static pile of gold you accumulate. It's a living, breathing system that you manage. It's a flow, not a flood. The story of Caleb and Elias isn't just about fish and a lake. It's the story of our own financial lives. Are you the one chasing every hot stock tip, frantically buying and selling for a quick profit, effectively scraping the lake bare with a giant net? Or are you the one patiently investing in solid, value-producing companies, nurturing your portfolio and allowing it to grow sustainably over time? True financial freedom isn't found in the frantic rush to get rich quick. It's built slowly, deliberately, by understanding the systems you're a part of. It's about building assets that generate a flow, not just liquidating them for a one-time payout. It's the difference between a thriving, life-giving lake and a barren mud pit filled with useless, heavy coins. If stories like this resonate with you, if you believe that true wealth is about wisdom, patience, and a deeper understanding of the world, then you're in the right place. This is what we explore here at Money Minds Tales. So subscribe and join our community. Let's learn to fish with a single patient line together, because that is how you build a legacy that can weather any famine.